Hey, everybody. Welcome to this live event for 2022 Mastermind. We're going to give people about 5 minutes to trickle on in, and we'll get this ball rolling. I wonder if it's actually going to update this time. Let's see. Still saying still saying zeros. So maybe that's it. Sending data. See if that works. Hey, there we go. Interesting. Okay, there we go. Welcome. This is 2022 Mastermind. For the new year, this is to help everybody kind of maybe see the new year in a new lens, and maybe some things that you haven't thought about yet of how to strategize this new year, what to put your attention on. So without further ado, we'll kind of give people another couple minutes to come in, and then we'll get going. Unless it's just a bad time. Hmm. Six, 601. Still waiting for people to come through. If anybody's here, thanks for stopping by. Just wait for people to trickle in, I guess, as they get notifications. If that makes any sense. There we go. Hello, everybody. Good morning. And like I said in the comments, if you want to be a part of this conversation, let me know in the comments and I'll send you a link. And we can talk about 2022. Till then, we're just going to wait a little bit longer for some more people to come through. And we'll get this show going. Right now, I think we only have 2 people ish. All right. We'll start at 11:10 or in 3 minutes. How many can I select? That's weird. That's interesting. Interesting. Okay. Okay. 1 more minute and we'll get this show on the road. Actually, can I even hear? Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. Well, I want to get this ball rolling. So thank you guys for coming in and spectating this event. If you're watching this after the fact, appreciate you checking in and look forward to having you around the next events for this year. I think 2021 was a pretty strong year in terms of getting past 2020 and kind of stepping forward into what life looks like beyond, COVID and all these world events. Personally, it was a very reflecting year for me. And I'm pretty sure that's more of a similar boat for many other people. I've heard a lot of people, 2021 was like a 2020 2.0. But, we want to make sure that we're always setting ourselves up for success and setting ourselves up for what we want in life. So I wanted to create this event for you guys and kind of not only just share what I do at the beginning or towards the end of one year into the other, but just in general, things to keep it things to keep in mind for that strategy. If that makes any sense. So some things when I end the year is year in review. Obviously, want to check out our performance, whether that's through the company that we work with, or it could be a life performance indicator. It could be how you just review your own life. Like, did I hit all the bullet points? Did I do everything did I accomplish everything I wanted to accomplish? Um, for me, that kind of, I kind of metricize more of those things. I look at my finances. I look at, some things that I do in the background as the year goes on, and I try to review how I've done compared to what I actually, what the goal was, what the goals were overall. Did I meet my own expectations in terms of life performance? Not everyone's going to see life in such a calculative way, but it's always good to kind of um, push some kind of standard on yourself in terms of what you expect from yourself. That's really important, because if you don't expect anything from yourself, then you're not going to really have a foundation to follow through on the things that you want. You're just going to kind of do them half-assed, and that's not good, because I'd expect that if you have things that you want to accomplish in life, you want to approach these things to go down these paths with some level of strength and determination and desire, right? If we want to do something in life, it's always going to require things that um, we don't like to do necessarily. Um, so understanding that foundation, understanding what brings us to that level of expectation for ourselves, which is really important. So we have our performance in review. We can um, you know kind of figure out what's completed, not completed. I personally write out all my goals before, I mean, obviously throughout the year, and I break it down month to month. So, you can, if you do this, you can set yourself up to review. What did you complete in the year, the prior year? Did you get to everything that you wanted to do? Maybe you wanted to go on a vacation, or maybe you wanted to buy a new car, or maybe you wanted to pick up an instrument or read a certain amount of books. You can see, what did you complete, what didn't you complete, right? What does that ratio look like? Did you complete more than you didn't? Hey, that might be a good indicator. It's good to follow those things in general. Events, good and bad. It's important to notate and write down and remember remember the things that have happened, events that have changed you, have changed people you care about, events that have changed your life, whether they're physical events or they're spiritual events or they're non-physical events, things that you just experienced emotionally. um, it's important to write all these things down, and the decisions and choices that you've made, right? And rewind. What were big decisions, small decisions that you've known that you knew you made, that ended up in one scenario versus another, right? Decisions and choices you made are pretty big. Remembering, understanding, you know, to some degree, analyzing those decisions and choices that you've made weigh pretty heavily on how you determine future decisions and choices into the new year. And so I like to review those things, and it gives you a pretty broad scope of how you did. We're all going to value different things in life. And so I think what's also missing on this list, to be honest, I'll just add it in real quick: happiness, joy, happiness, joy. We'll get more into that actually later, but you know, did you get exactly what you wanted out of the last year? I think that's super important to realize too, is that, as much as we are trying to push the envelope, get what we want in our life, it's important to also enjoy life as it is as we're on this journey. Um, it's there's a lot of stuff out there of people who just, all they do is work, all they do is grind. That doesn't fit everybody's narrative, or that doesn't fit everybody's way of living. For some people, it's unsustainable just to keep working. For some people, they could do it every day, all day until they get to that goal. And so, it's not necessarily desirable to operate in extremes, right? And so, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, making sure that you do enjoy life and take care of the things that you do. It's important that when you strategize your 2022, that you're factoring kind of some of these things so that it doesn't go unbalanced. Which is actually this part right here, which we'll get to in a little bit. But uh, some small things, I would say is, when strategizing the new year, you want to make sure you're strategizing with things that align with you. And so for that, you need to know thyself. You need to know yourself, your personal awareness. Who are you? What's your personality like? What gives you energy? What doesn't give you energy? What are your strengths and weaknesses? What should you just absolutely stay away from? And what should you double down on? There's a lot of different principles within that in itself. What are your goals, your visions? If you don't have one, why? What could be a good goal, even if it's not a great overarching or vision? What are things you really care about? It's hard to strategize something when you don't know the overall agenda, right? And so if you want to strategize for the year and you feel like, maybe you need to switch, or maybe, what you're doing right now isn't working, maybe you can focus on like a transitionary strategy, right? Which means, like, you're not necessarily switching everything in your life all at once, because odds are you're not starting from, you know, point zero. Everybody's already doing something in life. Everybody has their way of conducting their life. And so most strategies year to year are they're transitionary strategies. I'm living life as A, and I want to transition life to more of B, which is where I'm trying to get to. And so you have to think about how to transition from where you are, not to just totally get there all in one jump, right? Because 2022 is just a stepping stone into your right direction. It's not going to be I mean, maybe, that'd be awesome if you could figure everything out to in 2022 where you actually get to where you want to go in 1 year, but that's not always going to be the case. And so you have to take those steps. And so, incrementally, these year to year strategies should be stepping stones towards what you want, right? And these are the things that, you'd want to consider. And so, okay, so we've kind of talked about know thyself, your personality, your goals, your vision, joy, peace, and happiness, right? I'm big on that because I do believe in balance. I don't believe that everybody should just be working, needlessly and incessantly to get to where they want to go, because that's how burnout happens. And coincidentally, burnout will cause you to actually slow down or stop or even go in the wrong direction, and that's not a good idea either. So you need some balance. And so, how I recommend some balance in your new 2022, or maybe going forward, is something called the Wheel of Life. The Wheel of Life is a balancing mechanism slash tool to make sure that you kind of have all your affairs in order. It's a great coaching tool that I picked up a long time ago, and I actually use it. I actually metricize my Wheel of Life every 2 weeks. I have an Excel sheet where I kind of come back in, I keep tabs on the different elements of my life. So like every October, October and a half, November, November and a half. I'm always trying to, you know, grade or value every 2 weeks. How am I doing in these several areas of career, family, personal development, spiritual growth, fun, relationships, health, finance? to keep myself on track of and trending in the right direction in these areas, to make sure that I'm giving myself the time to pursue these different areas. And this is important because, without thinking about it, without a balanced strategy, and and within that, a balanced way of approaching life and adhering to some of these different verticals of life, we could just get wrapped up in one part of a strategy as opposed to another. And that's not a good thing, because then before you know it, maybe you're not focusing on fun or your finances and saving, or maybe you're not calling your mom and dad and your siblings and family members, and some things start to lack. And then you start feeling that internally. And then that starts to break into the strategy that you outlined. So the wheel of life is a great way to keep yourself not only on balance, but happy and joyful in life. It's going to help you do the things that you value, or the things that you want to do, things that you enjoy, things you love, and that's super important. And also, making sure that you're keeping on top of yourself in terms of maintenance, which is really important, because beyond what you want for yourself, there's just taking care of you and your needs, and some of those things are within the wheel of life, if not all of them. Everybody's wheel of life is going to look different in terms of what you value more or less of, right? Like, you may value personal development 10 out of 10, but then maybe, finance 5 out of 10, or relationships 2 out of 10. It's all going to be different, but you all need some degree or level of all these different verticals. And that's really important to understand and to integrate into your strategy year by year. And like I said, I track mine every 2 weeks, and I grade myself 1 to 100 of all these different verticals, to make sure that I'm tracking in the right direction that I want to go for myself. I have goals for each of those. What a 10 out of 10 looks like in the wheel of life for me is going to look different from you or your friend or your family members. Everybody's gonna have a different version of the wheel of life. And your 10 out of 10 is going to look different. You need to figure out what those 10 out of 10s could be for those different verticals. uh, and so if you want to know more about that, just direct message me. But wheel of life is a big way to strategize your 2022. Then you have automating and delegating, which is interesting, because we're so accustomed to doing things ourselves that we never think about the time that we actually have to utilize to do all of these things for ourselves. We have a lot going on, right? We got our career, we have to give time for family, time for personal development, time for all these things to allow us to become what we want for ourselves, right? And we don't really think about, well, how do we get that time back? Yeah, it's great to have the goal of getting more time back and to maybe working less hours. But how does that happen? It happens with actually three things here. I want to add resourcefulness. We do resourceful. Oh, let's fix that. Resourceful, automating, and delegating. Three powerful ways to get back your time. And that simply just boils down to, if you think there's a way to do something better, or maybe you can cut something out, you know, totally, by switching, consolidating a tool of some sort. Well, then that's where resourcefulness comes in. Resourcefulness is literally Googling, how do I do this better? How do I get an hour back into my day from doing this task? You know, uh, my life would be so much easier if I woke up an hour earlier. How do I do that? Right? It's becoming more useful, more utility driven for yourself. It's learning and stretching what you know to better yourself and to better other people. Resourcefulness is a skill that I think everybody should utilize, and I've talked a lot about this in my last live stream about systems. But when we think about automating and delegating, we want to think about, well, how can I set up my life so that the things that I'm doing in life are more automated? It's less my time, and that may mean paying other people. That may mean using another tool or resource to help you save all that time on that quality work, or just paying somebody and just saying, hey, I'll pay you X amount of money to take care of this one thing. And then you start to get that time back, right? Because time is the one asset, right, in life that we can't ever get back. So, in terms of a strategy for 2022, think about, hey, am I utilizing all the time that I have the way that I want it, or can I push off some of these tasks? Can these tasks be converted or given to somebody else to do without me intervening? And that's something to think about as well. Is how can I more align to the things I want in life, and delegate things that necessarily don't serve me, right? Maybe you're doing something year by year that uh, you really don't need to participate in, and all you need to do is pay somebody $100 a month to do, and then you get back a couple hours a month, 3, 4, 5 hours a month. Those are the things that I'm talking about, and those things add up, right? So I think we covered that pretty well. If you guys again have any if you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know down below, and I will definitely make sure to uh, answer some of these questions. Great. Well, the next thing I do want to talk about is career goals. When we think about strategizing into the new year, uh, career is on everybody's mind. I mean, this is on LinkedIn. Everybody here is going to some degree care about their direction, and I think everybody wants to have an established career. Everybody's got different goals for their career, and everybody's at different points of their career. And so, when thinking about strategizing your year, setting yourself up for a balanced and it could be performance driven, in terms of career, but think about what matters most, currently within this year for your career, for your role, for your job. Think about the people that you need to meet or learn to talk to. Think about where you're trying to go with your career. Maybe you're trying to leave your career to a new one. Maybe you're trying to push the envelope to the next level. Wherever you might be, think about the steps that you would need to take to get there. Think about all the different areas we've talked about, and um, you know, pull that together, right? Because career should be a big part. I mean, depending on how you value it, right? It could be a big part about how you strategize your 2022, but not necessarily so. You may be in a spot where your career is going great. There's not much you need to do with your career in 2022. You're just going to keep doing what you're doing, and that's totally fine. But if you're somebody that is really trying to make some moves for yourself in 2022, well then yeah, break it down. What does that journey look like? Start figuring out the holes, reverse engineer what those actions look like, and start building, this journey of what you need to accomplish month to month, for your career, and make sure you let the people that are involved, the stakeholders in that development know. If you have a lot that you want to achieve, let your manager and his manager's manager know. Let your coworkers know. Like, let everybody that needs to know about, who has some kind of sense of power over this journey, over what you're looking for in your career. Talk to them, learn from them, see what they have to say. Especially this time of year is the time where you can build out all your steps for all the things that you want to do this year. This is the time where you want to have those conversations. Having a refresh, a reset or a reset. Even if you've had these conversations, let the people know that you're still interested, because people aren't you. They see what you do, and they may think that things have changed, right? Keep people updated and posted on what your interests are, where your head's at, what direction you want to go in, and let people know how they can help. um So that was careers and goals, roughly. I mean, they could be boiled down to the same thing as goals. You're going to still have stakeholders, meaning just people who are involved in your goals. If not people, but break down what these journeys look like and see how you can break them down into twelfths, right? Month to month, how are these things coming to life? Break it down into the smaller actions because that's how the progress is made within the smaller actions. What opportunities and challenges, have you faced in 2021, and what opportunities slash challenges are going to be in 2022? You may already see some hurdles coming close to you. You may even be aware of some challenges you're aware of now that you're facing, and so it's important to realize, it's important to recognize what these are, what challenges slash opportunities you're having right now, what will be coming into the near future, in terms of these challenges, and how are you going to overcome these challenges? Can you do it alone? Do you need other people to help you? Is it going to be a long journey for these things? Is this something that's going to require discipline and consistency to get over? What are these challenges and how are you getting over them? And creating a smaller strategy that goes beyond maybe 2022 is something that you need to figure out. Not everything can be figured out in a year. So it's important to lay down these steps to, or these things, or these little smaller strategies that go over a broader scope of time, beyond years, beyond a year to year basis. So it's just keeping those things in check as you know, s- go through your year, right? Because the thing about year to year strategies is that things can stretch, outside of them, and it's important to have that focus of that strategy, even though things come in and out of that year, right? You may have things that go longer than a year that you're going through, and that's totally okay. We just got to keep mindful that what we're trying to accomplish, whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever your strategy is, that you're following the basics of it, that you have a general idea of what you're going to do. It's written down. You have the tasks, at least, of what you need to do. You have the focus of where you're going, and even if it's not a fully created goal, or maybe you're not sure whether or not your why totally, or your goals totally, as long as you know that year to year step, that's okay. I think it's important to get all these basics down. So anyway, so keeping opportunities and challenges in mind, you know, we already kind of mentioned this earlier. You could be in a transitionary period, and that, a transitionary time out of something, and so that may look like more than a year scope of time, right? And so, so there's a lot of things that may just be longer than a year, and that's totally okay. You just got to keep tabs on those things, keep tabs on those timelines. Um, I think timelining is also very important for strategizing year to year. To keep track on, time frames, intervals of time that things may take in terms of longer than a year, shorter than a year. Is it a month to 3 month kind of thing? Those are all things to, um, you know, think carefully about as you strategize your year. And optimize too. This is a really good one. If you haven't done already, think about all the things that you do in your life, um, everything that you versus, and then write down everything that you're doing versus everything you want to do. Thinking about in terms of optimization. Am I doing everything the best that I can? Am I saving the most amount of time that I want to right now? How can I save more time? How can I make things more efficient? Um, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, there's going to be better ways of doing things. And there may be people in your life that are doing things, faster or more efficiently than you, or they're just better at optimizing. Talk to the people who seem like they really have that kind of stuff together, whatever it is that you're valuing, and ask other people what they're doing. Um, having a certain order in life. That's really important, I think. Making sure that you're optimizing your life so that you get back the time that you can already get back now versus before you even start getting into the resourceful, careful weeding through the other stuff like we mentioned, the automation, the delegating and stuff. See if there's any time that you can change around in your schedule now. Maybe it just as a good exercise, you may just want to throw your whole calendar, your whole day to day on a calendar from week to week and see where you can save on time. See if you can change things around. Maybe you wake up a little bit earlier, maybe you go to bed a little bit later or earlier, whatever it may be. But throw your your life on a calendar and see what that looks like. See if you could start there in terms of optimizing your time, or optimizing in general. Like, oh wow, I take so long in this one part of my day, right? How do I get that back? And what would I rather do with that time? Maybe you'd rather work on a skill. Maybe you'd rather learn. Maybe you'd rather have a phone call, a phone call with your parents than spend an extra 15, 20 minutes on something that could take you, 5 or 10. Those are all the small differences. I don't think people realize even that just getting back 15 minutes of your time, 20 minutes of your time can mean that putting it in a different pot in the wheel of life can mean a lot of different things. It can enhance your life. Starting with minutes. And this is a big one as well because people forget to have fun. Make sure you strategize some fun in your 2022. Whatever that looks like. Everyone's gonna have a different ratio, but make sure that your funds ratioed out, accordingly with all these different things. Fun is a part of the wheel of life, even though it's for whatever reason I didn't backspace this. So you have fun. Uh, so make sure that you're getting all the wheel of life in there. um, for people who are workaholics like me and potentially you and other people viewing this, it's easy to get wrapped up in work and not to have as much fun. But we need that balance. We need that reset time to process, to think, to just let loose, to have fun. It's got its purpose. Doesn't even need a purpose, but remember to have some fun. And also remember that all this is, all a part of the mindset that you have, for what you want. Everybody operates differently. Some people don't like to be structured like and create a strategy for the new year, and some people do. But you have to figure out at some point all of these things, if there are things that you want in life. If you do it all, free flow and without any kind of structure, without zero structure, well, then it may take you your whole life to get somewhere, close to where you wanted to be. And, the purpose of this video is to kind of outline all these different things, which are, by the way, they're in the description, which is, the whole reason why I'm outlining these things is to make you more aware of, okay, wow, there's all these parts of life that I need to kind of focus on and think about as I go through, year to year. So, I would, just to recap, I would start with your year in review. I would think about who you are, who you've become after a year, and what you're looking to accomplish. You know, all the things that's happened last year. Your goals, whether you accomplish them or not, your strengths, your weaknesses. Who you were versus who you are. What do you know more about yourself? Maybe you should audit and ask some people, like, hey, like, how have I changed? What have you noticed? Get that feedback going from people that are closest to you. Um, and as the year goes out, we'll be going over some of these topics as well. So I'm going to open this up. We kind of ended it kind of early, and it's a Sunday, and I want everybody to enjoy their Sunday. So, if you guys have any questions, I'll open it up for a couple of minutes, and we'll just take it from there. I know that this was semi long-winded, but that's okay. If you have any comments, just leave them down below in the comment section, and I will see them. Oh, pretty sure I'll see them. All right. Well, I think we're going to end it here, guys. I appreciate everybody who stuck around until this time. I'll edit the video to where the first 10 minutes are cut out so that we have the meat of this conversation. And we'll see you next time on the next live stream. So for everybody who came through, appreciate it, and have a great New Year strategizing. Reach out to me if you have any questions about the presentation, and or want some feedback on your 2022 strategy. Till then, next time, this is Daniel Speiss.